I want to share with you a mid-year mission update concerning the work that we are seeking to do together in Latin American leadership development. Very grateful for the partnership of various individuals, for churches, for a foundation who has helped in significant ways during the recent months, the first months of the current year. In Matthew chapter 4, verse 23, the Bible describes the ministry that Jesus will undertake as teaching, preaching, and healing. I like that description. It is a good description of some of what we are seeking to do in the work we share in Latin American leadership development. I want to give you a specific report on several successes. I want to tell you about the church work, the establishment, the church planting of the new church in Los Baños in Cajamarca, Peru. As we have reached out and sought to find and to meet needs, we were able to employ Yexon, a Venezuelan, as a church planter. You can see some of the results of the work that he has done over the last 2.5 years. Unfortunately, because of the policies of the Peruvian government, he has had to leave Peru with his family. They were not willing to renew his residency. But this work is now again under the oversight of the director of the Bible Institute in Lima. They will be sending workers regularly, and I also am happy to report that there is a vocational minister who lives in the general area who will not only work with this church, but with the church in Santa Ursula, perhaps an hour away. When these two congregations have been able to share time together periodically, in recent years, there have been 60 to 100 people present, whereas before the pandemic, there were perhaps 10. So wonderful success, and this work has now been returned to the Institute in Lima. The director of the Institute told me in a recent call by Zoom how happy he was that we had been able to have a worker present when travel was impossible in the country of Peru. Another place where we have worked for a period of time and have now been able to turn the work over to the local church is in Nueva Libia, in Managua, Nicaragua. This church is about 10 years old, has an attendance now of about 400, had some difficulties with attendance during the pandemic, but have largely restored their original attendance. The elders that I helped appoint in this congregation have now accepted the responsibility for the work going forward. I will no longer be helping through Latin American leadership development. There are 2 churches in the U.S. that I have helped the elders identify that will be helping them from time to time. We're happy to provide bridging help in times of need, which we've done both in Peru and in Nicaragua. Now we hope to find other places where we can also be of service, helping the nationals do what they cannot do for themselves. In the country of the Dominican Republic, in the area to the southwest of that country, in Neiva, new congregations have been established over the last 7 years. 7 years ago, I assisted with the appointment of elders in the church in Neiva. They believe that evangelism is the call of the church. And they have, over the past 7 years, established 7 new congregations, which I was able to visit when I was there in January of this year. You can see the approximate locations of those new congregations with the blue dots. The home church is in the red dot in the lower right of the larger square. You can also see in the upper right somewhat of the location that we're talking about. Received a report last month that said there's another new congregation that's been established among the Haitians, Haitian Creole speaking in Neiva, and that work continues to go. There are about 500 new Christians, where 6 or 7 years ago there were none. What a blessing to be able to help in this work. When I was there in January, we saw 24 baptisms during the week that I was there. This is a picture of the church in Ángel Feliz. They are actively involved in reaching out. You can see the number present. They have been able, with their own funds, to purchase the land on which they're standing. I spoke at a devotional. We go forth trying to help God's people in other places do what God calls them to do. We try to help them when they cannot do it themselves. We step in and provide help, but the work is always the same, and that is the work of finding and meeting needs. In southern Colombia, we have had success with several churches. You can see the identity of the location of those churches in the map to the right. This is immediately north of the border between Ecuador and Colombia. You can also see in the picture to the left that there is a blue dot outside the box. This is a new church renewal plant that is in a place called La Hormiga. It's somewhat distant, it's remote. To get to La Hormiga through Colombia, you have to travel on that terrible highway that many of you have perhaps seen pictures of, that is so difficult. In recent days, because of problems with rainstorms, travel was restricted. So one day of the week it went one way, westbound. The next day it would go eastbound, and it was not possible for traffic to meet. Only one-way traffic on that road. We have provided funding so that the church in La Hormiga was able to grow over the last 3 years. And now you can see some of the results as we seek to find and meet needs. They have been meeting in the home of one of the members. You can see the number of members that are there. So many of them are young people, so impressive to me. And they have, with their own efforts, been able to provide most of the funding for a building that they are planning to build. And they are going to get a small loan from the bank for the remainder of that. We have tried to help them as they move forward so they can do what they are able to do and want to do without our support. What a blessing it is to find and to meet needs all across South America, Central America, the Caribbean, to be able to make a difference in the work that God's people are doing, helping them do what they cannot do for themselves, but always mentoring and encouraging and facilitating the work of those who are already present and are already willing to reach out and to do the work of God. Again, I am so grateful for those of you who have helped financially, for your partnership in the spread of the gospel. As we go forth year after year, I'm confident because of the reports we receive. Hundreds are being baptized every year. In fact, not long before the pandemic, I did the close calculations for a year, and there were over 3,000 that were baptized as a result of the consortium of churches with which we work. We're seeking to teach, to preach, and to provide the healing, spiritual healing, that only Jesus provides. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your partnership, for your generosity, and most of all, I seek your prayers as we seek God's wisdom and continue to make a difference in the world where God gives us opportunities, where God opens doors. Again, thank you. God bless.